In the upcoming chapter, in the heart of California, during a sweltering summer night in 1969, something unimaginable unfolded. A group of shadowy figures moved silently through the darkness, their intentions as sinister as they were unclear. Imagine this: a wealthy family asleep in their mansion in Los Angeles, blissfully unaware that death was creeping closer with every passing moment. The next morning, the world woke up to a crime so brutal, so incomprehensible, it would forever change how we view evil and humanity. This is not just a story about murder. It's a deep dive into the mind of one of the most notorious cult leaders in American history and the chilling legacy he left behind. Before I dive in, tell me, where are you watching from and what time is it there for you? I love knowing who's out there with me and where in the world you're tuning in from. Whether you're starting your day, winding down at night, or somewhere in between, I want to know what your moment looks like. It's also a great way for me to get to know you better and maybe even shape future content around your schedules. So, go ahead, drop a comment below and let me know where you are today. I'm all ears. The Manson family murders are often described as the darkest chapter in Hollywood's history. But before we delve into the horror, let's take a step back and set the scene. Picture a quiet corner of Southern California in the late 1960s, a time marked by political unrest, counterculture movements, and an almost surreal sense of freedom. In this era, a charismatic man named Charles Manson rose to prominence among a group of disillusioned young people searching for meaning in chaos. To them, he wasn't just a leader, he was a prophet, a messiah, someone who promised answers to life's greatest mysteries. Little did they or anyone else know that his vision would lead to unspeakable tragedy. Manson, quote, S followers, mostly women in their late teens and early 20s, lived together on a secluded ranch called Spawn Ranch, located near Chatsworth, California. The property was run down, isolated, and eerily fitting for the twisted ideology brewing within its walls. Days were spent indulging in drugs, music, and relentless repetition of apocalyptic prophecies known as helter-skelter. Manson believed society was on the brink of collapse and envisioned a race war that would leave only him and his loyal disciples standing. For these impressionable individuals, his words weren't just persuasive, they were gospel. They followed, without question, believing themselves part of something greater than life itself. But here's where things turned dark. On August 8th, 1969, 4 members of the Manson family drove to a luxurious home nestled in the hills of Los Angeles. Their target, Roman Polsk's residence at 1050 Cello Drive. Inside lay Sharon Tate, the radiant actress, 8.5 months, pregnant, along with her friends Jay Sebring, Abigail Fulier, Wojtek Frajowski, and Stephen Parent. What happened next shocked the nation and continues to haunt us. Decades later, over the course of several hours, the intruders committed acts so heinous, so devoid of humanity, that even seasoned detectives struggled to comprehend them. By the time the sun rose, 5 innocent lives had been brutally taken, leaving behind a trail of blood and unanswered questions. As investigators combed through the crime scene, they uncovered chilling details. Written in blood on the front door was the word pigs, a taunting message meant to incite panic and confusion. The brutality of the killings, combined with cryptic clues left behind, sent shockwaves through law enforcement and the public alike. Who could have done such a thing, and why? At first, no one suspected Charles Manson or his followers. After all, how could a ragtag group of hippies be responsible for one of the most infamous crimes in American history? But as the investigation deepened, connections began to emerge. Detectives traced evidence back to Spawn Ranch, uncovering disturbing artifacts, photographs, journals, and audio recordings that painted a picture of a deranged leader manipulating vulnerable minds. Manson himself became increasingly erratic, spouting bizarre theories and encouraging violence against those he deemed enemies of his twisted utopia. His influence over the family was absolute, built on fear, dependency, and a warped sense of loyalty. When asked why he targeted specific victims, Manson simply replied, "Because they represented purity and innocence, qualities I wanted to destroy." Fast forward to the present day, and the case remains a subject of fascination and debate. Advances in forensic science and psychology have shed new light on Manson's methods, revealing patterns that might have gone unnoticed during the original investigation. For instance, modern psychologists now recognize the power dynamics at play within cults, emphasizing how charismatic leaders exploit emotional vulnerabilities to gain control. One study conducted in the mid-2010s identified similarities between Manson's techniques and those used by contemporary cult leaders, suggesting timeless lessons about human susceptibility to manipulation. In recent years, amateur sleuths and professional investigators alike have revisited the case, hoping to uncover hidden truths. Using sophisticated image recognition software, researchers analyzed photographs taken during Manson's incarceration, identifying recurring themes tied to specific locations and dates corresponding to known crimes. These findings suggest Manson may have left deliberate clues intended to mock authorities long after his capture. Was he playing games right up until the end? Some believe so, pointing to letters written while awaiting execution that contained riddles and cryptic messages still unsolved today. Meanwhile, technology has played a pivotal role in reigniting interest in the case. Social media platforms buzz with theories, some credible, others far-fetched, yet all contributing to a global conversation about justice and accountability. Families affected by similar losses gather annually to honor their loved ones, finding solace in shared memories and unwavering determination. As Linda Hayes, sister of a victim, said during a memorial service held near Los Angeles, "We won't stop fighting. We owe it to them to keep searching for answers." Yet despite progress, fundamental questions remain unanswered. How does someone become capable of such brutality? Can we ever fully understand the depths of depravity exhibited by Manson and his followers? And perhaps most hauntingly, how do we prevent future generations from producing similar monsters? Forensic psychologist Emily Carter addressed these concerns during a lecture at Stanford University, confessing, "It feels like talking to something else entirely. When you analyze Manson's psyche, he didn't seem human." Now let's consider the broader implications. Manson, quote, "S actions didn't occur in a vacuum. They were influenced by societal factors ranging from economic inequality to widespread disillusionment with mainstream values. Modern experts argue that understanding these elements is crucial if we hope to combat extremism in any form." Episodes of documentaries exploring the social climate of the late 1960s resonate strongly with viewers navigating their own uncertain times. Could such a monster exist today? That's the question posed by investigative journalist Paul Hayes during the season finale of America's Darkest Hour. His words lingered in listeners' minds long after the episode ended, and then came the twist. In 2020, a former member of the Manson family came forward with revelations so shocking they threatened to rewrite history. Known only as Linda Hayes, she revealed intimate details about life within the group, exposing layers of brainwashing previously unexplored. Drugs, music, and relentless repetition of apocalyptic prophecies created an environment where reality blurred into fantasy. To us, Linda admitted during a televised interview he wasn't just a man, He was God incarnate. Her testimony provided unprecedented insight into the dynamics of cult psychology, sparking widespread discussions about vulnerability and susceptibility to manipulation. By 2023, advancements in artificial intelligence offered unprecedented opportunities for analyzing large datasets related to the case. A program developed by Brian Carter sifted through thousands of pages of archived material, flagging patterns previously overlooked by human eyes. His findings suggested possible ties between Manson's actions and broader criminal networks operating throughout California during the same period. "Are we looking at isolated incidents or part of something larger?" Brian asked during a live session, drawing nods of agreement from participants. The atmosphere shifted dramatically as public interest in the case grew once again. Social media platforms buzzed with theories, some credible, others far-fetched, yet all contributing to a global conversation about justice and accountability. Families affected by similar losses gathered annually to honor their loved ones, finding solace in shared memories and unwavering determination. "We won't stop fighting," said Linda Hayes during another memorial service, her voice cracking with emotion, underscoring the personal stakes involved. For every answer uncovered, new mysteries arise. Even now, as we reflect on this harrowing tale, one truth becomes clear. Evil exists in many forms, often hiding in plain sight. But so does resilience. Despite the horrors endured, the people touched by Manson's madness continued to rebuild, finding light in the darkest corners. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all, that even in the face of unimaginable pain, humanity finds ways to persevere. So what do you think? Do you believe Manson acted alone, or was he part of something bigger? Let me know in the comments below. Your input matters, and it shapes the stories I share next. So go ahead, type it out, and hit send. I'll see you there. R as a coma is not entry for the answers. In the upcoming chapter in the early 2000s, a young woman drove up to one of the most iconic mansions in the Hollywood Hills. Her heart was pounding as she parked her car and stared at the gate ahead. She wasn't there for an invitation or a meeting. She had come with desperation and hope, clutching a demo CD that she believed could change her life forever. Imagine this. She was about to break into the home of one of the world's biggest musicians, someone whose name alone could open doors across the music industry. But what happens next is not just a story of ambition. It's a tale of guts, luck, and an unexpected twist that no one saw coming. Before I dive in, tell me, where are you watching from? And what time is it there for you? I love knowing who's out there with me and where in the world you're tuning in from. Whether you're starting your day, winding down at night, or somewhere in between, I want to know what your moment looks like. It, quote S, also a great way for me to get to know you better and maybe even shape future content around your schedules. So, go ahead, drop a comment below and let me know where you are today. I'm all ears. The young woman, let's call her Rose, was a musician trying to make it big in a city known for crushing dreams as much as fulfilling them. Back then, she lived in a tiny apartment on the edge of Los Angeles, struggling to pay rent while balancing odd jobs and writing songs late into the night. Her big dream to be discovered by someone who could elevate her career overnight. And so after months of planning, she decided to take a risk, a highly illegal one that might either ruin her life or launch it into stardom. That afternoon, Rose pulled up to the mansion gates, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. The property was massive, surrounded by lush greenery and towering walls designed to keep prying eyes away. As she sat there debating whether she should actually go through with her plan, she noticed the gardener working nearby. At first, she thought the gardener would be a problem. If they spotted her sneaking in, everything would fall apart. But then she realized something. Maybe the gardener could help her. Taking a deep breath, she walked up to the gate with her last 5 bill in hand. "Please," she said softly but firmly, "let me go through. I just want to drop something off." Surprisingly, the gardener smiled, took the money, and nodded silently, stepping aside to let her pass. Rose's heart raced as she stepped onto the driveway. Every step felt like walking on thin ice. Cameras were everywhere, pointing in every direction. Yet none of them seemed to notice her presence. She glanced around nervously, expecting security, guards to appear at any moment, but the place was eerily quiet. Finally, she reached the front door, hesitated for a second, and turned the knob. To her shock, it opened without resistance. Stepping inside, she found herself surrounded by luxury, expensive artwork, plush furniture, and a sense of opulence that only the rich truly understand. Still, there was no one around. It was almost surreal. As she explored the ground floor, searching for any sign of the owner, Rose couldn't shake the feeling that she was living in a movie scene. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was too easy, too straightforward. Yet, here, she was standing in the middle of a house belonging to one of the most famous people on the planet. Eventually, curiosity led her to discover an elevator. Without thinking twice, she stepped inside, pressed the button for the upper floors, and waited anxiously as the elevator ascended. But just as the elevator doors opened, reality hit her hard. There, sitting in the room right outside, was the legendary musician himself, Prince. He looked calm, almost serene, strumming his guitar as if nothing unusual was happening. For a brief moment, neither of them moved. Rose stood frozen, staring at the man she idolized, while Prince simply turned his head, raising an eyebrow at this unexpected visitor. Then, gathering all her courage, Rose stepped forward, threw the demo CD onto the table between them, and bolted back toward the elevator without saying a word. By the time she made it back to the front door, Prince's security team had already caught up to her. They stopped her, questioned her, and surely considered calling the police. However, instead of pressing charges, Prince listened to her explanation. Perhaps he saw something in her determination, or maybe he understood the lengths artists sometimes go to when chasing their dreams. Whatever the reason, he let her walk away unscathed but empty-handed. That interaction didn't lead to immediate fame. In fact, it seemed like just another bizarre chapter in her chaotic journey. Fast forward a few years and Rose, now performing under the stage name Kesha, became a household name in the music industry. Her breakout hit TikTok dominated airwaves worldwide, selling millions of copies and earning her international recognition. Fans adored her edgy style and raw talent, but little did they know how close she came to being arrested before achieving success. Years later, during interviews, Kesha would occasionally mention the incident, always laughing it off as a youthful folly. However, behind closed doors, she admitted privately that the experience taught her resilience, the importance of never giving up, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Now, here's where things get interesting. While Kesha's career skyrocketed, questions lingered about that fateful day. Did Prince ever listen to the demo CD she left behind? If so, what did he think of it? Some speculate that he might have been impressed enough to share it with industry contacts, planting seeds for Kesha's eventual rise. Others believe it was mere coincidence, attributing her success solely to her relentless drive and unique sound. Regardless, the story serves as a reminder of how thin the line can be between failure and triumph. Let's rewind a bit further. Why Did Rose choose such a drastic approach in the first place? Growing up in Tennessee, she had always dreamed of becoming a singer. Music flowed through her veins, and performing was more than a passion. It was her identity. But breaking into the industry proved far harder than she imagined. Rejection letters piled up, auditions ended in disappointment, and financial struggles forced her to take odd jobs just to survive. One evening, while brainstorming ideas with friends, someone suggested targeting high-profile celebrities directly. It sounded crazy, but after weeks of deliberation, Rose decided to give it a shot. After all, what did she have to lose? What makes this story even more fascinating is the broader context of the early 2000s music scene. At the time, technology hadn't yet revolutionized the way artists connected with audiences. Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok didn't exist, meaning aspiring musicians relied heavily on traditional methods, record deals, radio play, and live performances to gain exposure. Breaking through required creativity, boldness, and sometimes sheer audacity. In many ways, Rose's decision reflects the desperation felt by countless other hopefuls during that era. However, this isn't just a story about taking risks. It's also about timing and opportunity. By the mid-2000s, the music landscape began shifting dramatically. Digital streaming services emerged, offering new avenues for independent artists to showcase their work. Meanwhile, Kesha continued honing her craft, collaborating with producers and songwriters who recognized her potential. When her big break finally arrived, it wasn't because of Prince or anyone else really, but because she stayed true to herself and refused to compromise her vision. Yet, the mystery remains. What happened to that demo CD, investigators? Well, curious. Fans dug deep into Prince's archives after his untimely death in 2016, hoping to uncover some hidden connection. While no definitive evidence surfaced linking the two directly, rumors persist among those close to Prince's inner circle. Some claim he mentioned receiving strange gifts from fans, including a mysterious CD from a young woman. Others dismiss these stories entirely, insisting Prince wouldn't waste time on unknown talents. Still, the possibility lingers, fueling debates within the music community. As we reflect on this incredible story, one thing becomes clear. Life rarely follows a predictable path. Sometimes success comes from calculated moves, while other times it stems from reckless gambles. For Kesha, both played a role in shaping her destiny. Today she stands as a symbol of perseverance, reminding us that our wildest dreams often require unconventional steps to become reality. So, what do you think? Was it pure luck that saved Rose that day? Or did Prince recognize her potential and decide to let her leave quietly? Let me know in the comments below. Do you believe moments like this define careers? Or is it all part of a bigger plan we don't fully understand? Your thoughts matter, and they might inspire future episodes. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this story, and consider subscribing for more tales of ambition, mystery, and triumph. Who knows, maybe tomorrow's video will feature someone whose story resonates with yours. Until next time, thanks for joining me on this ride. See you soon.